So hi everyone, thank you for joining us this evening for our student question and answer session. I'm going to start this evening by having the students introduce themselves by sharing their name, trimester, and where they are from. And then I will start the question segment with a few questions before I open it up. Please feel free to type your questions in the chat, or once I open it up, you can unmute your mic and ask your questions. So CJ, if you want to go ahead and start by introducing yourself.
Hey guys, my name's CJ Gardner. I'm from Wyckoff, New Jersey. I'm a current Tri-4 student here at Logan.
Brianna, would you like to go next?
Hey guys, I'm
Bree, we don't have a good connection with you, I don't think. And Amanda. Amanda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Gifford, and I'm a current trimester 9 student, and I'm from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
So to kick things off, CJ, why did you choose to pursue a degree in chiropractic?
For me, I have an undergraduate degree in exercise science, so it's kind of limited what type of fields you can really pursue besides like personal training. And I was always an injured athlete growing up, so for me, being on the rehab side of things and being hands-on and not sitting behind a desk 9 to 5 was definitely something I was looking for in my career. And then having that portal of entry and being able to diagnose and treat however you see fit as a chiropractor versus a physical therapist was really the major deterrent as to why I chose chiropractic over other career options.
Great. Amanda, why did you choose Logan University?
So, funny story, I actually did not look at any other chiropractic schools. I originally wanted to be an optometrist, and I had a special guest come to my undergrad, and they talked about Logan and chiropractic because she was actually an alumni of Logan. And I came to the campus, fell in love with it, and knew that that was where I was supposed to be. And that's where I am and where I've been. So.
And Brianna, what do you love most about Logan?
Hello, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay, perfect. I think maybe having my camera and mic on, it was too much for my internet capability, so I'll just do the microphone. But my name is Brianna Springer. I'm a trimester 5 student, and what I love most about Logan, two things are our assessment, kind of a place we'll go once a week, and you get to work with paid actors and actresses that have memorized the case and really stimulate a real patient encounter, and you start doing that in trimester 1. And in trimester 7 at Logan, you get to start working in the student clinic. So since we have the assessment center, you get to start working on your patient interaction skills, how to do exams on a real patient and things like that before you get to student clinic, so you're not as nervous when you get started there. And then another thing I love about Logan is our tutoring program. It's a lot different. Pretty much everyone has tutors for multiple subjects. And it allows you to not only do good in the class, but do great in the class. And it's all done by students who have done very well, like 95% or higher in all of the classes. So, and they have lots of resources. They've taken the class. They know exactly what the teacher is expecting of you and can really help you be successful at Logan.
Amanda, what is your favorite course in the chiropractic program?
So currently, I am a trimester 9, so I am on rotation. So I have to say it's not technically a course, but we call it Clinic 3. But being on rotation is awesome. I absolutely love it, and I'm super happy to be able to practice the skills that I have learned at Logan and put them forth while treating patients. So I have to say being on rotation is my favorite.
CJ, can you talk a little bit about classes pre-COVID and what classes have been like because of COVID, and give an idea of, once things somewhat go back to normal, what they can expect, and for the time being, what it looks like?
So what's nice about my first trimester at Logan was during COVID. So I saw both sides, seeing it in person and online. The transition was actually pretty smooth. I had very low expectations that some of the teachers would be able to transition some of the lectures online, but they actually did a fantastic job. Logan brought in a lot of IT help to make sure PowerPoints, presentations, Zooms, everything was going to run smoothly. When you're in person, you're sitting in a classroom, and what's nice is it's not like undergrad where you're going from building to building. It's the professors come to you. So you're in that same exact room for the entire trimester for every single class except for clinical methods and anatomy, which is really convenient. But at the same time, in between class, you do want to get up and walk around because you're there from 7:30 in the morning till about 4:30 at night. And if you're someone like myself who gets easily distracted when they go home, you might want to stay on campus and utilize some of the resources like the LRC, the Learning Resource Center, to utilize quiet studying, because the more you study, the easier the exams are. But if you get distracted or you don't manage your time well at home, your grades will reflect that. And that was definitely tough for me personally. But transitioning online, the professors have gone above and beyond to really make sure that the material is still reaching you as a student and it's clear to understand. And if you ever have a question, what's nice is they post these pre-recorded lectures as well as host live Zooms as well. So you can choose to go to these Zooms if you want, if it's not mandatory, and you can watch the pre-recorded, or you can go to both, which is really convenient. So you can go to the live lecture, do the homework assignments, start to study, and then if there's something you want to refer back to, you can always go back to those pre-recorded lectures and then double check and be like, oh, I did take that note down right, or oh, that was portrayed better last trimester than it was this trimester. So it's easier to kind of understand concepts. So it is really nice, but also having the hands-on currently has been fantastic, because I wasn't sure I was going to continue with school, not knowing if we were going to be hands-on again. And the school has made it very effortless. All you have to do is fill out a survey to prove you don't have COVID, and everything's spaced out appropriately. Everyone's wearing masks, and everyone does a good job about following all the COVID protocols, which is really great.
Awesome. I see Cam just joined us, so I'm kind of going to put you on the spot. If you can just introduce yourself by sharing your name, the trimester that you're in, and where you're from.
Yes, sorry guys, I kind of had a little bit of a family emergency that happened yesterday, but everything is all good right now. Just got off the phone with my dad, so that's why I was a little bit late. But yes, my name is Cam Johnson. I am a trimester 7, almost trimester 8 student. I am from Cheyenne, Wyoming. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. So I'm going to put you on the spot again, and I'm going to ask, what's your favorite part of the St. Louis area?
My favorite part of the St. Louis area before COVID was Ballpark Village. I'm a humongous baseball fan. I played college baseball myself. So I would go down there fairly frequently, either attend a game right across the street or go in there, get some food, order a drink. The atmosphere there is about as baseball as it gets during baseball season. And then when hockey season starts, you go in there and it's hockey season. So there's plenty of food options in there and things like that. And it's right downtown. So ultimately, that's my favorite part about St. Louis. The arch is also beautiful too. So if you ever get the chance to do that, I would highly encourage it.
Great. Thank you guys. So that was kind of a little bit of a basis to get us started, but now I'm going to open it up. So if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask for the students, or I also have Kathy with me, and she is an executive admissions coordinator. So if there's any admissions related questions as well.
Okay, I kind of have a few questions. So I went to whatever, let's see. I went and visited like a few weeks ago, and I really liked it and everything. And I had questions then, but now I have more. So, so I'm actually, or was a college athlete as well. And I played college tennis. And my main thing is I want to work with athletes. And I guess like my main concern is me getting connections to work with college athletes possibly. And like relative to other schools, like how could Logan do that for me? Does that make sense? I don't know. Okay.
I know we have our master's in sports science and rehab that you can do concurrently with your DC degree, starting in your second year. But I know we also have a lot of local schools, D2, D3 levels that we do work with, as well as the University of Missouri and University of Memphis are two of our big ones that we do have clinical rotations with as well. And we have the US para powerlifting team actually comes to Logan and hosts competitions. I got to see that last January, which was really awesome. So we do actually have a large outreach in the athletic field for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I'd touch on too, is just when you get to the clinical portion, especially, you have that ability to really start making your connections there by really sticking out and going and do your clinical portions at a university and treating with athletes and stuff. So then you can start to kind of make connections as well. And then there's clubs and stuff that you can take part on campus. So you can start to network by joining different associations as well and joining those clubs and taking part in activities like that to kind of get your name out there, let people know that you're interested. There's techniques that are offered in electives as well that'll help you with that as well. So if individuals are looking for you to have certain techniques, that'll also help you. Gabriel, did you have a question? Oh, did you have more questions, Cami?
Kind of. Okay. Yeah. So I guess this is more towards the students. Okay, I was pre-med in undergrad, so I don't really know anything really about chiropractic. My best friend's dad is a chiropractor, and that's how I got interested in it. And he's kind of been like, you know, encouraging me to like see other schools and everything, just to like, you know, make sure that I have everything and want to go to the right school and stuff like that. And I guess I was just wondering, like, as far as the techniques and stuff, he said, I don't really know what this word means, so if anyone could just define it for me. Subluxation, is that, like, what is that? And like, how is it incorporated? Because he started going on this rant, and I just need someone to define the word really, and like kind of if it's really in the curriculum or I don't know. Yeah.
So you picked a hot topic of the chiropractic profession. So technically, if you look into a medical dictionary, a word subluxation means a minor dislocation. When chiropractic first got started, that is what we classified as the areas to adjust. So we palpated the spine and found subluxation. So that was either a bone that was moved out of place back then, or restriction is what we kind of get to nowadays. Science has kind of evolved from, instead of pushing bones into place, it's more of like restriction, areas of the spine that don't quite move as well as others. Now that is a kind of a controversial topic because it's a word with many different definitions. So myself, I find a restriction. I can call it a subluxation. I can call it a restriction. But globally, it's the segments that we adjust in the spine. That is a global definition that I think every chiropractor can agree on, is that it's the area of the spine that we adjust, if that makes sense.
Does anybody else have questions? Did anybody else look at other schools prior to choosing Logan? Can you talk a little bit about your experience? Just what schools you looked at, maybe?
Yeah, I can touch a little bit on it. So I did look at one other school. I won't, and mostly once I visited both schools and I talked to the students from both of them, I obviously ultimately decided Logan. That's why I'm here now. And the thing for me was that Logan has very updated facilities, which is one. I know that we're going away from your original question of maybe the methodologies of chiropractic at that, but I'll just touch on a couple things. The facilities are super updated at Logan. We have state of the art everything. We use iPads for everything, which a lot of schools do now. I know, especially that we've been online. But also the techniques Logan has, we have 4 base techniques, which are Logan Basic, Activator, Diversified, and Myofascial, which is a soft tissue technique. But there's also over 20 plus elective techniques we can take. So I could really individualize what I wanted to practice with based off of all of those things. And I mean, all schools are going to have different elective things like that you can take, but Logan has an outstanding number of them. And some are only taught at Logan. I think we have 1 or 2 that are maybe only taught at Logan because we have special rights to teach those. We have like instructors that have connections and are certified and things like that. So that was a big standout for me because I wanted to have the most options available. So when I started getting to school and for sure figuring out what I wanted to practice with and have the most options available for me to choose from. With subluxation, like Cam was saying, it's a very hot topic. I put that in the chat as well. I mean, I just did a discussion post a couple weeks ago about defining subluxation because it's something that gets talked about very often at school. But like I also put in the chat, Logan is an evidence-based institution. Not all institutions are. So if that's something that is important to you, you want to look at that for different schools. Logan was more evidence-based than the other school I was looking at, and that's not the sole reason I picked Logan, but coming from a biology background and an undergraduate, I was used to looking at science and research and things like that. So that obviously stood out to me. I knew that I was going to be doing more of that. And research in chiropractic is up and coming. I mean, it's happening. We need more research. That's how we can keep progressing the profession. So that's also why that's important to me. We do research at Logan to some extent, not necessarily students too much, but we have different other like postgraduate programs and things like that. So that's just a couple reasons, I guess, on what helped me choose Logan coming from a science background, kind of like you. I think that's a really common thing. So don't feel like you're behind. Like I said, I was biology in undergrad. You don't learn about chiropractic when you do that either. You come in and it is very overwhelming. You learn a lot more about a lot of things you didn't think you were going to learn about ever. As in, you do an ear exam, you do an eye exam, you listen to the heart, you listen to the lungs, you learn about every little pathology because we are port of entry healthcare providers, as CJ was saying. So we have to know how to do a lot of things and assess a lot of things because we never know what could walk through our door. So just be prepared that you're going to learn a lot no matter what school you go to, and it won't just be about how to adjust and things like that as well.
Thank you. So I know we have some clinic students as well. Can you guys talk a little bit about what clinic is like, maybe what a day is like doing the clinic versus, I know you still take classes and stuff, but what's your schedule kind of look like? Maybe if you can touch on what it looks like, if anything's changed because of COVID or anything, and maybe if you have some plans as you get up in the clinical portion, if you have a specific area you're interested in or anything like that.
So now that I'm a trimester 9, I'm actually out on rotation. So COVID started when I was a tri 7. So my whole first semester of clinic, we were virtual, no clinic whatsoever. So now they have incorporated where we have our specific times that we're in clinic. So they make sure that there's not too many students in clinic, but enough that we can treat the patients that are in clinic. And so 7s and 8s and some 9s and 10s are in clinic. 7s primarily normally treat students, and it's usually student clinic, but since everybody's virtual and techniques are only meeting on campus, 7s are seeing both students and outpatient. And then 8 is usually outpatient, but they are splitting up the times between the 8s, the 7s and the 8s, so they're all able to see patients. And then on rotation, so CJ was talking about with the athletic rotation, like in Memphis at Mizzou, then that we have partnerships with the VA, like there's a lot of different options for rotation. And then you can also, there's a master list of docs all across the country and even in other countries that you can actually go on rotation with. So I had a friend that graduated a couple of years ago. She actually went to the Netherlands for her rotation, and she still practices there to this day. So there's no limit on where you can go. You just have to find a doctor that is willing to have you come in. And like I said, it could be like I'm in with a doc that's in private practice. There's some people that go to, like I said, the VA clinics. Then we have a clinic that's with Paraquad working with those different types of, there's an integrated practice where you're working alongside PTs, OTs, medical doctors, all kinds of different rotations. It's really where you want to be, and they really leave it wide open so that way you can make those connections for after graduation and where you want to be to set yourself up to be successful when you're coming out of graduation. So that's something really awesome that I'm super thankful for Logan letting us do that, because it is scary, especially as a tri 9. I graduate in August. Like I'm thinking about like getting out in the real world during all the pandemic and things like that. And I'm really thankful that Logan gives us the opportunities to help us network and get out and be successful. So that's a little kind of a brief overview of kind of like how clinic is right now, and then like rotations. So
And then Amanda, I just want to touch on, I think Kathy let me know that you're in like the mentee program. If you can talk a little bit more about the resources that are offered at Logan and touch on like what it means to be in the mentor mentee program.
Stephanie, it's funny that you mentioned that. 2 of my mentees are actually on the Zoom with me. So Cameron and CJ were both my mentees. So I have been a mentor in the mentor mentee program since I was trimester 2 student. So with that, sometimes it depends on how they do it. Each trimester they do it different. You can either be randomly assigned, or we'll have like a meet and greet where you can actually pick your mentor. So the mentor mentee program, it's flexible, so it's made for the student and what they need. So like you can set up where you meet them weekly, you can set up where you meet monthly. You kind of just, the student lets you know what they need. So like I know that's something I did with both Cam and CJ. So my favorite thing is Taco Tuesday. So the first time that I like took them out for us, our like event out, was to go to Fuzzy's Tacos. So like that's one of my favorite places. You can catch me there almost every Tuesday. So we went and had tacos together and just got to know each other. And then like if they needed anything, they would text me, like if they had a question about a test or just different professors or just different expectations. It's really whatever the student, the mentee wants from their mentor. Like they really leave it open. And then pre-COVID, we would have a mid-trimester and an end-of-trimester event. So like our end-of-trimester event was always going to Dave and Buster's. So we got to eat Dave and Buster's and play games. So that was always fun. I really hate that we're not doing that anymore. That was like one of the things I look forward to. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed. I actually my try 1 and all the way up until probably try 5. My mentor was a really like person I was super close to, because the mentor program doesn't stop once you're not in try 1. Like I said, me and Cam and me and CJ, like we still talk regularly. Like if they have a question or need something, like I would still be here for them to this day. So it doesn't just stop once you're not in try 1. So that's something I really like pride the program on, is that they really try to make these people be their like lifelong friends, and like because eventually we're all going to be doctors and all going to be practicing together. So we're going to need those friendships and those people to turn to, because you never know when you're going to have a weird case that you might want to ask a counterpart question about. So I'm really thankful for our mentor program.
Awesome. Does anyone else have questions? Anything you can think of for the students? Students, is there anything that you'd like to add or any advice that you would like to give to other students that are thinking about chiropractic and thinking about Logan?
Yeah, I'd like to add one thing. With whatever you choose, whether it be chiropractic or something else, just come in or go there with an open mind. I came in to Logan thinking I was going to be solely an athletic doc. I was going to work with athletes and all this stuff. And as I grow farther in the profession or in educational journey, I talk with more and more docs that have the same exact mindset. And they don't work with athletes. I know 2 docs that I shadow on a regular basis have the same exact thing. I'm working with athletes. Now, not that they don't work with athletes, but they also work with those athletes' grandparents. So it's something that you have to put in the back of your mind. Yeah, I want to work with athletes, but also just be open to other things, because you'll be so surprised on things that you thought that you might want to do and how that changes. Like the person when you start this as a try 1 or a day 1 somewhere else, and the person you are 2.5 years later, like I am, you're 100% different person. Your views change, your desires, wants, and needs change. So just come in with an open mind and be a sponge. Absorb everything that you can possibly think, even if you don't agree with it. Absorb it and take little pieces of it and formulate your own opinion, because that's what doctors do, and that's what the future is about. Is kind of formulating your own opinion and progressing where we're at now. So
I would also say too, to kind of piggyback off what Cam was saying, is go and shadow right now. Go network, go meet docs, whatever profession you're even contemplating. Go shadow PTs, go shadow MDs, DOs, nurse practitioners, go see DCs. Pick up on little things, because communication is a big thing in all medicine. So just picking up on what certain docs do, how they interact with patients, how they schedule patients, pick up on things that you do like, pick up on things you don't like. So you can kind of start shaping your career now by taking a little bit of everything that you do enjoy or think, oh, I see that being really successful, I want to do that as well. And kind of see what kind of field you truly want to be in. Because sometimes when you're there for a couple hours a day, don't just go once or twice, go a couple times, really get a feel for the day in and day out routine. So that way, when you do open your own practice or work for somebody else, you're not going to be blindsided with, oh man, there's so much paperwork that I didn't expect to be doing, or I really just don't agree with the way we're doing certain things. So go out there, and I mean, it's never too early to network. So that's definitely something big that I would suggest as well.
So then I also just want to introduce Erica. She put in the chat for everyone to see, but she's part of the experiential learning and career services team. And just to note for everyone as well, there's 3 professional career coaches that are there to assist you in your development. So both during and beyond your study. So it's not only for you as a student, but also when you become an alumni as well. So they offer group career programs and panels, individual career coaching, resume reviews, mock interviews, online resources, and more. So there are resources to help you long term as well. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions?
There's another question in the chat.
Oh, this one might be more for Kathy. Kathy, do you have an idea of what date someone can apply for a scholarship for fall of 2021?
Yeah, so I know that there are a couple on our website right now for incoming students, and they don't have like an application link on there. So I actually asked our financial aid team this not that long ago, and they're just not available to apply for right now. They didn't give me an exact date of when it would open up. But if you are applied for fall 2021, we are notified in the admissions department as soon as scholarships become available for our incoming students. And then your admissions coordinator will reach out to you and let you know as soon as that is opened up and how to apply and all that good stuff. So we do keep our incoming students informed as soon as we find anything out there. Sorry, that was kind of a vague answer, but we will let you know.
Thank you.
Also, one thing to add, if you do get in touch with an admissions coordinator, like literally they make the process so easy where if you have a question, it's like almost answered in an email before you even email it. It was, at least for me, I had a ton of questions. Kathy was also my admissions coordinator, but they work well and keep you well in the loop and make the admissions process pretty much the simplest it can possibly be. So if you do have any questions, get in touch with them because they're fantastic at what they do.
Thank you. Well, does anyone have any questions before we wrap it up for the evening?
I have one more.
Yep.
But that's it. Okay, so I think someone said that Logan is really like evidence-based learning, and that's really important to me because like I was a biology major, and yeah, and one of the big things at my school was show me the evidence. So like, does that mean basically that you guys just learn based on like new things that are coming and just advancing like in chiropractic and everything? I guess that's kind of my question.
Right. So evidence-based for Logan, what that means is there's 3 prongs to us being evidence-based. There's what the literature says, which is very important, the clinical experience of the practicing doc, and also our patient's wants and needs and desires. So in order for it to be evidence-based, it has to pretty much meet all 3 of those. With that being said, if there is some new evidence that comes out, Logan is on it. So we also have a clinician and quite a few docs that are also putting out evidence. So us students can grab that, formulate our opinions, and start practicing it that way. But in order for it to be truly evidence-based for us, it has to meet all 3 tiers of that. I do know that with the chiropractic profession right now is we don't have evidence from all aspects of what we do. So a lot of it is theory, but there is the side of the evidence base where it's clinical experience, clinical intuition, patient wants, needs, and desires. So the farther along the profession goes, the more evidence-based we can be. But as far like when it comes to whatever the date is, March 30th, 2021, Logan is probably the most evidence-based school. Again, there is a ton of work that needs to be done in the profession to get it to where it truly needs to be. But yeah, that's my interpretation of evidence-based. Did that kind of answer your question?
So I know we had a.
Sorry. I'm just going to add one thing to Cam. He did a good job, like exactly explaining what evidence-based is, especially at Logan. And a lot of times, just to add on, like our teachers, like if the lecture is whatever the lecture is about, a lot of times they're posting a piece of literature that's about that. So you can go in and read about it, and you're not just reading their slides and learning from them, but they give you a lot of opportunities to learn from it without you having to always look up your own research. But we do have access to all of the big databases that are full of research. And we do have one class that's kind of specifically focused about like learning, a couple classes about learning how to find good research and like why they're good and the different types of studies and things like that too. So those were two important classes that kind of tie in some of the literature part of being evidence-based. And then obviously, as Kim was saying, as we go along, and I mean, right now in trimester 5, I don't have a lot of patient interactions and things like that, so I can't tie that into it. So right now, as like a student, I'm focusing more on the literature aspect of things. And as I continue to progress in my education and career, I can start pulling in all the 3 tiers.
I just wanted to see too, okay. So we had a question, Sebastian just joined in, and they are wondering, what made you choose Logan over other schools other than philosophy and evidence-based types? Does anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I can go. So when it came, I was like I said, a college athlete. So I went to school to play baseball and then do school on the side, kind of in my mind. I did them both to my most, the strongest I can do them both at the same time. But it came to graduation time and I had no idea what I wanted to do. Fortunately for me, I had 270 hours of internship that I needed to complete before I can get my bachelor's. I got a internship with a chiropractor, and he basically gave me a list of 5 schools that he thought were the best. And of course, Logan was one of them. I'm not going to harp back on any other school. I'm just going to talk about why Logan stuck out to me. The first thing, the admissions was superior to all 5, hands down. Secondly, I looked at the curriculum and like, what am I actually going to be learning? So Logan has a very, very interesting curriculum to where when you are a try 1 or your first year, a second year and third year, it loops back around. So in trimester 1, you learn basically all MSK stuff. And then when you're in trimester 4, it comes right back around. So it's not one of those things where you learn it, take a few tests on it, and then it leaves. Because in try 1, 2, and 3, you're learning it all. Try 4, 5, and 6, you're becoming a practice doc, and you're learning it all. And then try 7, you're incorporating it all in with real patients. So the way the curriculum is at Spiral, it loops back around. So you get 1 shot at it, 2 shot at it, and then you're in clinic. That was very interesting to me because, again, I'm a guy, if I don't use what I learn, I lose it. So that helped me out a ton. And then I'm sure everyone else has said it already, but just the opportunity that Logan provides. There's 20 something electives that you can take. So you can literally be any type of chiropractor you want. Like I've taken the electives, you need like 6 credit hours, which can be like up to like 3 or something like that. I've taken far more because there's just so many to offer. Some of them are free. Some of them are very, very, very discounted through the school. So with that, the opportunity, I've talked to many, many students from other schools that be like, oh, you guys have Mackenzie on campus, which is a technique. Yeah, it's in our nicest classroom in the school. Like it's amazing. It's an opportunity that Logan provides that a lot of other schools don't. So just the opportunity and the technique that we can choose from is another main reason why I chose Logan. Also, not to mention the campus is absolutely beautiful. That helps.
Yeah, so for me personally, I'm from New Jersey, so the closest chiropractic college is like 2 hours away. So for me, I didn't mind traveling at all. But I have ADHD, so for me, passing standardized tests was definitely going to be a big deal. So I looked at curriculums, and as Cam nailed it, our curriculum's awesome. How you're always refreshing on material you've already learned. We also have on-campus tutoring. It's a paid position for students who got a 95 or higher in the class, giving you tips and tricks on how to study and make things a little bit easier. And it's just, again, another great way to network yourself with younger trimester students or older trimester students. And there's no stigma about getting a tutor. It's actually very beneficial to get a tutor, as well as the graduation rates and the board passing rates. You can't be a practicing clinician if you don't pass boards. So to go through school and take out $200,000 in debt just to not be able to practice would be pretty stupid on my end. So for me, I was looking at schools that would help me become as successful as I can. So Logan was definitely at the top. And then certain schools I visited, the campuses just weren't as nice as Logan. And one of the schools got hit by a tornado. So I ruled that one out right away. So yeah, so I would definitely say if you can visit, because campus is really, really nice when the weather's nice. And when you go on the tour and just see that it's a team environment at Logan, for me, that's what sold me.
Brianna, I'm not sure. I think you kind of touched on this, but do you want to add anything? I know Amanda answered this question in the beginning, so I didn't know if there was anything you'd like to add as well.
I know I touched on the assessment center earlier, but I think it's almost like a hidden gem that people don't find out about till they get to Logan. But to me, it was pretty exciting when I got to start going to the assessment center. You get to work with someone who's a paid actor or actress who's memorized kind of a patient case, who will act out whatever the school has set up for them that week. And in trimester 1, you get to start taking histories on them, working on communication skills, doing vitals, doing different exams as you progress through trimesters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up into clinic. And it's simulating a real patient encounter, which is what we're going to be doing for the rest of our lives. And it also simulates kind of part 4 boards, which is hands-on. So Logan does a lot, as CJ was mentioning, to help us be able to pass boards. That's what we need to do to be a practicing doctor. So that's really important. And also Logan's student loan default rate is like 2% or less, which means that people that are graduating from Logan are able to pay back their student loans, which is obviously very important. That means we're getting good jobs that are paying us money, and we're obviously able to pay those back, which we can compare that to, like the national average of like some other schools, like at the undergraduate level, that student loan default rate is over 10%. So that says a lot about Logan and the students that we have here, and the students that are passing and getting good jobs and going out into the healthcare field as well. So that's something that was important to me.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to the admissions department, and we can put you in touch with a current student if you have questions for them. Or if you have admissions questions, they can assist you with that
Cam,
as well.
what was the other 4 schools that chiropractor suggested?
Yeah, so he, the chiropractor, he recommended obviously Logan, that's one, Parker, Dallas, Palmer, Davenport, Northwestern. He recommended Western States only because it was somewhat close. And then obviously Kansas City, Cleveland. So he said those were the ones that he would choose if he could go back again. And then of course I didn't visit all those schools. I just narrowed it down to the ones that I thought, okay, those were the ones that I might want. And then of course Logan was the winner. Very easy decision for me though. I will say that.
Great, thank you.
Of course.